Day, Ruskin Jaws. Hope you're right, 'cause it's time for Profit Review. Now, last week we discussed the November 27, 2025 Rust Store, and that means today we're here to talk about December 4 swipe, December 4, 2025. So sit back and relax, and I'll start yapping. So, leading up to this Rust Store, this wasn't what we were originally expecting. What we originally were expecting was the naval update. But in the previous video, when we did the abnormal barders, we found out, no, it's not going to happen. And if you understand abnormal barders, technically speaking, it happens on the same day that we see the next Rust Store, this Rust Store in particular. So, over the course of that particular day, December 4, 2025, Facepunch had to figure out what to do next. Because in the lead up to, well, this particular day, all the skins that are submitted, like 95% of them were naval themed skins. So, yeah, naval update got delayed. Eventually, it comes out February 2026, yeah. And, well, what do they do? Surprise, complete the sets. Okay, I don't think anybody's complaining about that. It's unfortunate that, yeah, okay, naval update, not looking to be very stable, probably not the best thing to put out during December and, of course, January time, when, well, Facepunch is rounding up and finishing, because, of course, they take time off. Christmas period, okay. So, yeah, they put out a complete the sets Rust Store, and what do we see? Well, after about 4 or so years, 5 years, we finally see Neon Storage Small Cards Box finally being accepted. Yes, the second I saw that, I was like, uh-oh. That small props cards box, oh dear. So yeah, this appears, it has been around for a very long time in the workshop. You might sit there and say, but it says 2024. This is like the third attempt. So, just pointing that out. So yep, that finally happened, and it definitely drew a lot of attention. I was looking at it, I was very curious. But also the focused item of the month, the snow jacket. So in the past, we've had a few skins being accepted, but we've never had a white one. So I was definitely interested, purely based on the fact that in the past we've had like the No Mercy, like regular jacket. At this specific point in time, it's selling for like $45 to $50. Could that do the same? But then we question, how often do people actually use snow jackets? What? A green garage door? But didn't we just see one last week that was green and, you know, had transparency on the bottom? Well, here you go. Here's another one. Yeah. At $2.49, Cobalt Jungle container garage door appears. This doesn't glow in the dark, but it also has transparency here and in the corners down here. So, okay. Well, then. Awkward timing, yes. But will people prefer this one instead? Oh, well, that's a discussion. Heatseeker summer has kind of finished, but hey, look, Heatseeker end of the year, Christmas time, we get a sap, a transparent aim sight sap. So, okay, maybe this random complete the sets isn't all that bad. Yeah, it's unfortunate we didn't have the naval update, we didn't see the naval theme skins, but I don't think people are upset with what we saw here. So yes, another complete the sets has appeared, but we've been through this before. You might recall back in August time, so here we are, August 21, 2025, we saw this come and go, and even back then I knew, alright, so we're seeing a lot of like skin collections getting a brand new skin, and you might notice a lot of spiking in demand, spiking in price, looking very nice, but what happens to these skins afterwards? Are we actually going to see more skins being accepted after them to then give a boost to all of these skins that you see here? In most cases, it doesn't usually happen. And, well, case in point, back then, early December time, quite a lot of these skins weren't exactly doing super great. We'd just gone through October time. October 2025 was not a fun time. Prices dropped off real bad. So, even right now, you can notice some of these skins still aren't doing very well. A lack of a continuation, it kind of needed there, and we didn't see it happen. So, basically, what we learned from here could potentially happen to the skins that we see here. But still, Xenotype Collection gets another skin accepted. Ridiculous. So at this specific point in time, it is all but confirmed that the largest large box collection we have ever seen is Xenotype Collection. So, cool, lovely. But would fuel actually be in demand? And then we have the Dungeon Armor Double Door, which looked really, really cool. Yeah, that's it really. Just looked nice. I thought that would be pretty sweet. I thought people would appreciate it. Would the sales be high? Oh, we'll discuss that. So here's a funny thing. Throughout all of 2025, we didn't really see an armored door being accepted. until we saw the Spoon Kid kick drop. And then suddenly this appears. And then suddenly we saw another one. But we'll talk about that in a second. In the past, we've seen quite a lot of armoured doors being accepted throughout a year. But suddenly in 2025, we didn't see anything until now. So it got me curious. Are we going to still kind of have that drought? Are we going to still kind of see like next to no armoured doors? Could that actually work out quite all right? Because Greening Area Collection, quite a lot of these skins are doing pretty sweet. And yeah, you might notice August time. Oh, wow, yeah. We've got a Greening Area skin right there as well. When this appeared, this did bounce up in price and went up in the green. So, all right, cool. So I think you get the point. Lots of interesting collection continuations. Forest Raiders, Fault Collection, Ladybug, Apocalyptic, Newt Vibe. We also got the balloon pack and the birthday candle hat. It was Rust's 12th birthday. Special packs were made. But I looked at them, I thought, you know what? It really wouldn't surprise me if they just bring these back every single year. They were pretty silly. They looked pretty interesting. It's just, I kind of just imagine that people probably wouldn't care too much. So, all right, cool. Extra silly things are added. Lots of interesting collection continuations. But when it comes to it, you know, like with every single Rust store that we see, I'm always questioning what potentially could be the best investment for this week. So I actually recorded my predictions video like 23 hours in. And you might notice the sales are looking pretty ridiculous. So ridiculous that it kind of makes me question things. So let me just zoom out a bit. It doesn't really change. Oh, well, I'm covering my head. Sorry about that. Anyway. Neon Storage Small Cards Box, you do look interesting. But I kind of had my focus on the No Mercy Snow Jacket. Yep, out of all the skins, my focus was the No Mercy Snow Jacket. I thought, okay, you're selling a decent amount. You're part of a well-established collection that people do appreciate. And you're like fully white. If people were to use a snow jacket, would that be the snow jacket? Especially considering it's like perfectly white. You blend in perfectly fine in the snowy biome. Would it be alright? Would it be okay? I mean, we're debating it, but I thought that was probably the best option. Worst case scenario, you can just stick with a buy-order. Priced at $2, would you be okay? Considering it was the focused item of the month, we were expecting more snow jackets. So, you know, maybe that might be a bit of a concern. Ooh. Then I talked about the Neon Storage Small Cards Box. At $2, I was thinking, I was questioning, I was looking. I thought, you know what? Perhaps it might still suffer initially. Because in the past, you might recall, I believe it was the summer of 2024, we suddenly saw 5 Neon Small Cards boxes being accepted. People loved them. They bought ridiculous amounts of them. About 50,000 each. I can remember 52,000 for the Neon Small Meds box. Although as time went on, whilst it did suffer initially, it did manage to go up into the positive eventually. Not by much, but it's still in the positive. That right there, it did not look like it's going to reach up to 50,000 subscribers. Compared to all the other small boxes, it genuinely looked like it was going to potentially only just about sell a decent amount, possibly reaching 30,000, both of these here. So, okay, that was my initial expectation. Let's see if it actually amounted to that. And then with all the other skins, I mean, that garage door was looking interesting, purely based on the fact that this one does not glow. For a more discreet base, like in the jungle and whatnot, that could actually help blend in quite nicely. Heatseeker sap looking very interesting. Part of the Heatseeker collection, that's a big positive. But also, the transparency it has as well. That was a positive, yeah. Pays to win. Sep, who could say no to that? So that was looking pretty sweet, and also not exactly selling ridiculous amounts. Looking at all the other skins, I mean, Ladybug Tier 2, quite a big surprise, but what comes out after it now? All the other Ladybug collection skins, oh, they rose up in price very, very nicely. Tier 3 was pushing up to $4. The hoodie and pants were recovering after suffering for a very long time. Could this actually work out well? Well, with the sales, I was noticing it wasn't really selling as much in comparison to the rest of its set. Oh, okay, maybe that might be quite all right. So as long as the collection remains in demand. So overall, quite a lot of skins, but the potential issues of a complete the sets Rust store, it looms over my head. I remember. If we do still see continuations for these collections afterwards, okay, all of these skins respectively could still rise up quite nicely. But based on their designs, well, I thought some of these were still going to stand out quite nicely and still work out quite nicely. So, okay, cool. So you can always go back to this predictions video. You can see in the order of what I thought everything was. I kind of had some high hopes for Cenotype Fuel Large Box, probably based on the fact that it just really wasn't selling that much. The lowest selling skin after the first 24 hours of sales. Well, you know, it's probably a good time now to talk about the first 24 hours of sales. So, over to here, boom. Yeah, it had just barely over 10,000 subscribers. It really wasn't selling that much. But then looking at all the other skins, so yep, that went all the way up to just over 14,000 subscribers. This had just under 13,000. Both of them were expected to do about 30,000 subscribers after their 7-day tenure in the Rust store. Sap, honestly, you were selling quite a bit, but not as much compared to like that. You were looking interesting. Armor Double Door getting quite a lot of attention. Armor Door looking pretty sweet. Locker looking pretty okay. Like, there was a decent few skins selling quite a lot, and the rest of them not selling as much. So Soap, I'll talk about that in a second, don't you worry. Looking pretty sweet, but how did everything look when we approached everything with the abnormal barders? So, on the night we did the abnormal barders, you can clearly see Neon Storage Small Cards box, well, almost 29,000 subscribers. Followed by the Neon, the No Mercy Snow Jacket, sorry about that, 28,000 subscribers. Cobalt Jungle Container Garage Door, over 22,000 subscribers, considering we just had another green Fireflies Garage Door from the previous week with transparency in the bottom. People liked it. People appreciated it. With it costing, by default, $1.50 cheaper, I mean, can't stop people from liking something. Heatseeker Sap sitting here at $3, over 21,000 subscribers. One of the highest ever selling Sap skins we've ever seen. Type Fuel, just under 20,000 subscribers, quite a surprise there. Dungeon Armor Double Door, doing pretty sweet, just under 16,000 subscribers. So, yeah, people were appreciating the skins in the Complete the Sets Rust store, but what prices did we suggest? So, if I could quickly bring this up. Neon Storage Small Cards box. You're selling quite a lot. Like, not as much compared to the other small boxes, but it's still quite a lot as of now. Of course, as we get closer and closer to January time, post-Christmas will happen, but I still expect quite a lot of listings to be there. If anything, it might take a while, it might take a year. It might take a year for that actually to properly recover and rise up in price to a good profit, but I was curious. I was looking at it pretty interestingly, and I thought, you know what? For a $2 skin, I'm going to offer $1.20 to $1.70. I thought I want to go strong. I can imagine it does drop off a fair bit, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does recover and still work out quite nicely, especially considering the other Neon Small boxes were doing pretty sweet around here. So, alright, cool. No Mercy Snow Jacket. I looked at you with quite a lot of curiosity initially. Like I said, if you were to use a snow jacket, would that be the one? How often do people use snow jackets? Will they start to try and use them a whole lot more now that that's appeared? Because again, you know, how many people can actually afford the No Mercy Snow Jacket? Not too many people. Again, $45 to $50. Oh. So, okay, I was curious, but I still kind of questioned the usage of the actual item itself. I thought, you know what? You probably can't go wrong with $1 to $1.50. Cobalt Jungle Container Garage Door. Well, I'm looking at you. I'm questioning it quite a lot, especially considering we just had the Fireflies Garage Door. I wanted to play it a little bit safe. At this specific point in time, we have seen a ridiculous amount of garage doors throughout all of 2025. A lot of those skins were not doing very well. I wanted to play it safe. I went with $1 to $1.50. I didn't fully trust it. I kind of want to take a bit of a step back. But the Heatseeker Sap, oh, I was very curious. I suggested $2 to $2.50 for that $3 design. It's a Heatseeker skin. It's got support. It will have interest. I was looking at it with a very, very curious eyes. Oh, yes. So, yep, that was looking pretty interesting. But in regards to Type Fuel, I did think about, do people actually need it? Crave it? Desire it? I just said $1.70 to $2.20, like we've said with all the other Type skins. Dungeon Armor Double Door. I wasn't really sure how to approach you. $2.49. I thought, you know what? $1.20 to $1.70. We don't really see that many Armor Double Doors. I thought it could work out quite all right. That, yeah, it might take some time to really become a nice profit. So, yeah, $1.20 to $1.70. Forest Raider's Bed. Well, you can't see it there, so let's switch over to here. It's just so you can see everything. Forest Raiders Bed, I didn't really talk too much about it. Of course, part of the well-established Forest Raiders collection, but we've only had 3 deplorables in total. So I looked at it, I questioned it, and I thought, you know what? With the amount of beds we're seeing, it is getting a bit problematic now. I suggested only going to like $1.20 to $1.70. When it's at its worst, which would, you know, it was expected that a lot of skins could go down in price after post-Christmas. So that being around March and April time, the Easter dip. I thought maybe at its worst, it'll probably end up at around $2. So going up to like $1.70 should be okay. We'll see if that works out nicely. Nuke Vibe Fridge. Didn't exactly sell that much. At this specific point in time when I'm looking at it, the Nuke Vibe collection isn't exactly in demand. Wasn't feeling very confident with that. But again, it sold like next to nothing. And in-game, it does look very, very, very cool. Quite literally, haha. Anyway, maybe it could work out independently by itself, maybe. I mean, we'll see. But I suggested only $1 to $1.50. So, for the regular skins, so what we just mentioned were all the abnormal skins. Now we're talking about the regular skins that only became marketable when the next roster rotated the very next day. Fort Bow. Fort collection. It's a weapon-only collection. It's not looking very pretty. Even back then, it wasn't looking very pretty. I suggested only 60 cents to 80 cents. For the Ladybug Tier 2, everything, it didn't really sell as much compared to all the other skins, which did make it look very, very interesting. But, you know, the boots still sold the least. Just saying, pointing out. Anyway, so, looking at this, I thought, so as long as the collection remains in demand as a whole, it should be A-okay. But specifically for the road sign kilt, I said 70 cents to 80 cents for the 99-cent skin here. But for the two other skins here, so that being the vest and the coffee can, I said 60 cents to 70 cents. Would it work out? We'll discuss that. And then we have the Apocalyptic LR300. I don't trust LR300s. I just said 60 cents to 80 cents. So that was that. That is what we said when we did the abnormal barders. But how did everything turn out? When, of course, after this 2-month span, have we noticed things work out perfectly? Let's just switch over to here and see for ourselves. Well, I feel like I was right to sit here and say I didn't fully trust it. And I was right to bring up, with the previous complete the sets, you might see some issues. So let's just discuss that right now. Neon Storage Small Cards Box. You haven't struggled and suffered, but you haven't exactly gained a lot. So let's just quickly take a look at you when you load up. Take your time. There you go. Steam's been a bit weird recently. It's out of my control. Sorry about that. Let's also make sure the extensions are on. And let's jump in. So, as we take a look at you right now, we can clearly see that there's 124 listings, which might be a bit concerning. But in the grand scheme of things, that's not too bad, especially when I compare to what we saw previously with the previous small boxes. So let's just go ahead and do a comparison right now. We didn't do it earlier, but I was trying to breeze through it very quickly. Sorry about that. Small boxes. As of now, as I sit here at the very beginning of February 2026, the prices aren't too bad, but if you saw these around the autumn fall seasonal dip 2024, oh, they got bad. All of these ended up at around $1 and slightly less. Some of them went a bit lower. Anyway, so they struggled and suffered and they went down real bad. But what I see here isn't too bad, but we haven't gone through March and April yet. We have gone past the best of post-Christmas, although we do have naval updates still coming up, so we might see a lot of people buying skins again around then. We'll see then. We'll see. But based on what I'm seeing here, you haven't done too bad. You've only got a few listings below your Rustore price. With the barders I see, I honestly don't expect it to suffer too much, but I can't fully judge it until we're sitting here around April 2026 time. Did you buy any? Yep. I, out of curiosity, bought 10 of them. I'm not upset with where it's at the moment, but I will point out, initially it didn't really end up being a massive profit. At best, probably close to around $2.50, but it has started to drop off. And now we expect it to reach a new low point. But it won't be the end of the world for it. Again, it only reached how many subscribers? 31,500? Again, in comparison to the other small boxes, 46,000, 40,000, 52,000, almost 38,000, and, you know, only 26,000 there. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up like the Neon Small Cards, Small Seeds box, which for a very long time has just done A-okay, because it didn't sell as much compared to the rest of them. Could we end up like the Meds box, where demand is actually there and people generally want it? Well, we'll see. But it's going to take time. So did you buy any? Feel free to comment below. And are you happy with where it's at the moment? Are you very curious to see how it behaves as we enter summer 2026 time and hopefully see that rising up in price to a brand new all-time high price? We'll see. So, okay. Not too bad. And with the barders, honestly, you're not going to really notice like good pickup prices until around April time. So I know I suggested $1.20 to $1.70, but honestly, even right now, you're probably picking up a few of them with your $1.70 buy order. So if you're one of them, stand up, feel free to comment below. Next, No Mercy Snow Jacket. So of course, after this, we did see a few others appear. So we saw the Training Snow Jacket and the Christmas Snow Jacket. Now, let's just exclude that one, okay? That's a Christmas theme one. We don't really want to compare with that. But we got like the complete opposite the very next week. Okay, not going to complain. But also do notice, that sold significantly less. And it still ended up going down cheaper. As I mentioned, with this being white, perfect for the snowy region. Perfect for the snowy biome. But how are you going to behave from here and now? There is quite a lot of you to go around. But as you look and see, this collection is fairly in demand. The clothing and the armour, oh yeah, people be liking that. Will you always be appreciated and actually manage to go up in the positive? We'll see. But also, have you performed on the Steam market since you've been here? So let's just get a quick look at you. So the highest barter right now is quite literally $1.50. The lowest price right now is quite literally $1.80. But it's just a few listings below its $2 price. That isn't that bad. 96 listed, 38 have sold today. It honestly looks like it's going to do a pretty decent job retaining its price. I imagine the worst point it's going to be is probably about $1.50. Again, we expect it to happen around March and April time. I wonder how bad you behave as we go through post-Christmas. October 2026 time. Oh, it might get bad, but hey, I can't foresee 6 months into the future. But I would imagine it does drop off. But I do imagine this will probably perk itself up quite nicely as we go through around July and August time. Post-Christmas time. The summertime. I mean, post-Christmas next year, I also expect it to perk back up again. But I'm not seeing big fat stacks of quantity. It's not looking too bad. Looking very thin. And it doesn't look like it could crash and burn anytime soon. So yeah, that's looking pretty sweet. But if you have offered up to $1.50, feel free to comment below. Are you feeling confident? There I am with the $1.50 barter. Did you actually pick up any straight from the rush store? Did you buy any? I personally didn't. I looked at it, I questioned it, and I thought, you know what? I think I'm just better off with a barter. I can't trust if the snow jacket itself gets used enough for people to justify skinning it. And then there's the other question of, do people actively go ahead and skin their snow jackets? So yeah. It's not looking too bad. It's just, we're not going to see the best of it just yet. We've got to wait a little bit longer. Now, if I could just quickly switch and compare to the previous week, you'll notice Firefly's garage door right now, it's not exactly doing stupendous, is it? No. But I can confirm, Cobalt Jungle Container Garage Door, you've been doing perfectly fine since you've come out. So I did do some comparisons. I did showcase and say, to be honest with you, the transparency in the bottom here, not as good compared to this one right here. But again, with the transparency you have here and the lack of glow in the dark, it does appear people have appreciated it. Also considering it did sell for $2.49 instead of $4. Yeah, okay. So yeah, looking very thin, not too bad. Barter's looking perfectly solid. It looks perfectly fine to me. That right there has worked out wonderfully. This right here, though, unfortunately has dropped off. But again, at such a high price, we shouldn't be too surprised. So this only has 79 listings. You're good. You're like a good 20 listings until your rush door price. Ooh. The orders, honestly, are very similar to what we see over to here. So, not surprised to see it's turned out where that's actually worked out, but this one hasn't. Again, if you're to sell something at much higher price, it's usually a struggle for it to retain its price, especially considering that you would be expecting a lot of garage doors in the future as well. So it's unfortunate, but not too surprising. So you're doing okay at the moment. Will that persist? Will you work out as we go through March and April time? Will you be beloved during the summer of 2026? I'm very, very, very curious. So we'll see what becomes of that. But just want to point out, 20,000 subscribers here, 25,000 here. It did sell more. But as you'll notice, looking perfectly fine. So, all right, cool. So, yep, let's just see how low you actually went. And honestly, it looks like it's still trying to find out that lowest point. You might see a few sales here. Looks like some people dumped initially. But then post-Christmas happens. It perks itself up. And at one point, selling for $4. But then again, over to here. How high did this go? So initially it was doing all right, but then it slowly trends downwards. So yeah, the arrival of this, unfortunately, did kind of like mess up the Firefly's garage door. That's unfortunate. Never recovered, but this perfectly fine. Heat Seeker Sap. I can confirm to you, I bought 30 of these. I looked at that. I was like, yep, I'm going to do a strong buy order, and I am going to go ahead and I'm going to go buy some. However, initially, it did suffer. So let me just point out, initially, some people were not really sure what was going to happen to it. They got scared, they got worried, and they ran away. They dumped their stock and they ran away. Fools, I tell you, fools. Look at this. Look at that perfect profit that it is. So, how high have you gone? Let's just point that out. It's more of a recent thing. Heat Seeker skins are still being produced. Like right now on the workshop, there is a Heat Seeker SKS. I'm not sure if that's going to be accepted, but if we do have a complete the sets in 2026, I fully expect that Heat Seeker SKS to be a nice candidate. But you can see initially it goes down, down, all the way down to like $2.20. Who offered more than $2.20? So not only did I buy 30 straight from the Rust store, I also picked up like 50 of them straight from buy orders. And I can confirm to you, as of recent, I did sell a whole batch of them, but I sold them around here. So unfortunately, I didn't sell them for the best profit, but I sold them for a profit, and I'm happy with that. Profit is profit. I'm very happy. And still to this day, I've still not sold my 30 stack. I'm going to hold on to them until the summertime, because I truly believe around the summertime, I'll be able to sell them for a better price. In comparison to this, we don't really have that many SEPs with transparency. I know we have the very old one that costs a lot, and we have B SEP, which a lot of people I don't think are fully well aware of, but it's the collection. People appreciate the Heat Seeker collection, all right? There's a reason why all of that's in the green at the moment. Will we see you? Or you? Or you? Or hoodie and pants maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, perfectly fine, looking solid, perfect thing to consider buying. And the Barders, I mean, they're doing A-okay as well. Doesn't look like they'll be going down in price anytime soon. But you should still expect that to happen. Why? Well, needs to dip. Okay, fair enough. Understood. So, yeah, it might be on a high at the moment. You should expect it to start dipping below $4 as we enter March time. So, all right, cool. Yeah, understood. Let's close that. Now let's talk about you. Xenotype collection. So, as of recent, we have been discussing the issue of not knowing what the box's DLC is. But I will say, as we sit here currently in February 2026, we do expect that to be revealed soon enough. The whole batch of the February Rust stores are fully figured out. Naval Update skins, Valentine's, and Lunar New Year skins. It wouldn't surprise me, perhaps towards the end of this month, we find out if the boxes DLC are small boxes or large boxes. Let me say, I'm definitely leaning more towards small boxes, which would be annoying because I did sell like a lot of my large box collection skins, such as Neon Storages. Oh dear. Anyway, as you'll notice over to here, we did get another one the very next week, Xenotype Food, and that'll be a discussion for next week. Do you actually need it? That was a big discussion for that. Anyway, so as you notice, the more recent skins have performed better than the older skins, but even this one went down in price. Now, for a while, this was actually doing A-okay. This was doing perfectly fine. So let me just quickly show you that. It rose up. At one point, this is selling for comfortably over $3. For quite some time, it was doing just that. And now it's starting to trend downwards. So, yeah, unfortunately, its demise is the whole collection itself. Until we find out what Box's DLC is, this is going to end up like this for a while now. But over the course of this month, even if we have the naval update, where we could potentially see the naval large box, Xenotype large box, which would be added to this collection, yeah, it's going to end up like that. Everything's going to likely be in the red until we find out if the boxes DLC are small boxes or large boxes. If it's large boxes, oh, it'll get so much worse. It'll get so much worse. So we just got to sit on our hands and wait. So, yeah, not much we can do about that. What do you reckon? Small boxes? Large boxes? Feel free to comment below. Now, why are you doing so good, huh? What happened? Well, I can confirm to you the very next Rust store, we saw another dungeon skin. We saw Dungeon Small Box. So people are like, oh, wow. Suddenly we got like a proper collection now. So that armor double door, it just instantly goes up in price. And since then, it just hasn't really changed. So, yeah, it's just been A-okay. It was a bit funny initially, but then... So post-Christmas, $4.50, kind of dips again, back up to $4.50, kind of dips again. It's kind of just like chilling now. And as you'll see, 25 listed. 25 listed, which is like next to nothing. Looking pretty sweet. Barter's like over $3. I don't really expect that to struggle. It will eventually go below $4 again. Yeah, I expect that. But that's just worked out wonderfully. Did anybody here watching happen to buy any? Feel free to comment below. Brag about it. Yeah, you're more than welcome to do so. But yeah, surprised. I didn't really expect that to go so high. But then again, I didn't expect a literal collection continuation to appear in the very next Rust store, which was also a complete the sets Rust store. So, hey, you're a big surprise. But still sitting here and waiting and hoping to see more dungeon skins to be made. The skin creator was curious, but he's going to make like this kawaii set. So he made the dungeon collection, and now he's going to make a kawaii door collection. We'll see what happens, all right? What a contrast. Right, anyway, cool. So, wonderful. But it didn't work out. What happened? Suddenly Face Punch was like, oh yeah, armored doors exist. Except. Uh-oh. So I'm not sure if they're going to fix it again, but they accepted a lot of them over the course of like a month and a half. So kick drop, acceptance. Oh dear. Yeah, quite a lot of them were accepted in such a short amount of time. Lo and behold, it's looking like, 2024's batch and 2023's batch. And 2022, I guess you could say. But only a couple of them stand out quite nicely, and the rest of them suffer. And at the moment, everything here except that's doing bad. You're a kick drop, so you can't go down in price. So, unfortunately, yeah, that did go down. For a while, it was doing A-okay. For a while, it was like the only one. I mean, we did get Dragonhorn the very next Rust store, but it's been a slow decline. Doesn't seem to be going down that much more, though. But how does it look around March and April? I'm sure it'll still slowly go down a fair bit more. So, it's unfortunate, but yeah, that's just the way it is. Face Punch just sadly thought, you know what? Let's accept more armored doors. And Greening Area Collection started screaming. Well, I mean, only these two skins. These are still perfectly fine and solid. Well, don't be surprised if we see the rug being accepted in another complete the sets in the future. Neon Bismuth Locker. I didn't talk too much about this, but there's a big question in regards to, was this going to work out perfectly fine, like the Sheepman door, and the Armour double door, and the Sheepman double door, and the Garage door? Unfortunately, no. That's more of a case of how many locker skins did we see in 2025? Too many. So, whilst we saw a lot of fridges, we also happened to see a lot of lockers. Perhaps too many lockers. So, yeah. At first glance, you can instantly notice, oh dear, that's quite a lot. And then, we knew about this, it was coming along. We knew a special Trust and Rust charity locker was going to appear. In fact, I think it appeared this very Rust store. Was it the second Rust store? I don't remember. But we knew that was coming because we saw evidence of it. We're showcasing it. We're looking at it. It looked cool. You still did 15,000 subscribers, but it doesn't help when a very interesting, very unique design appears literally just after and takes away all the attention. So that just instantly suffered. Quite unfortunate. Now, Forest Raider's bed. To be honest with you, you really haven't really performed that bad. We have seen a lot of bed skins though. So let's just quickly confirm. Right now, you're just under your Rust store price. You've got like 10 listings. You've got some batches of listings there, but looking at it like so, not too bad. So let's just talk about sales history. So as you can see, it's had some highs, it's had some lows, but the difference of price from here to here to here to here, it's not that much. I guess you could say it's been fairly stable. Not too many ridiculous amount of sales, but not too many ridiculous amount of listings. So it's just been holding up quite all right. There was the discussion of, would it simply be okay purely based on the fact that it was a Forest Raider skin? When we first saw the first two deplorables, it was like, well, surely that would be the case. And I mean, right now, take a look at these. Yep. Only all right and okay-ish. But those will likely suffer as well as we go through the bad times. March and April time. But the clothing, the armour, oh mate, nothing's stopping that. But these still go down in price during bad times. You just don't really notice it that much because it's still expensive. Right. You want blue camo for naval update? Foxy, how many people do you reckon are swimming with guns in the water? Plus, wouldn't like regular dark clothing be good for that? Anyway. Forest Raiders bed, we shall acknowledge that beds are getting a little bit too ridiculous with the amount of acceptances. We've had 5 Rust doors in 2026. We've had 4 of them being accepted. Does that mean 80% of all Rust stores we see in 2026 are going to have beds? Probably. It's just a bit of a joke. But anyway, lots of beds that appeared after you. Twitch drops, kick drops, and acceptance after acceptance in Christmas. So, yeah. Surprised to see that you're still holding up quite all right. But I do worry for where you end up around March and April. So, not too bad, but we'll see. And also the suggested price. So I looked at you and I thought, you know what? You're probably going to end up struggling maybe around March and April. I said $1.20 to $1.70. We'll see what becomes of that because we still have to see it suffer. But at the moment, it doesn't look like it's suffering. So we'll see. But I will give it respect. It's been stable. Maybe it does end up at around $2 though. Which, honestly, my barter right there should be okay then. So, all right, cool. Full bow. For a while, this actually worked out quite all right. This was actually the one skin in its set that was in the positive. But even then, it still dropped off. So, as you'll notice, 23 for sale. 16 have sold today. Wow, more of this bow have sold in comparison to the Forest Raiders bed. Maybe people sold directly to the bar. I don't know. But you can see it's been a bit of a slow downward decline since here. So this was in the positive for a short period of time, but it's been slowly going down. It hasn't really changed that much. The collection is weapon only, so unfortunately, I don't really expect it to change that much as time goes on, until we see some deplorables, until we see some clothing armor. And honestly, that would look pretty nice. It's up to the skin creators though. But yeah, this wasn't too much of a surprise. But 60 cents to 80 cents was too low, so I got that wrong. However, over to here with the tier 2 armor, well, the question was it going to remain in demand? You might notice the pants have gone down in price, but let's just point out 36,000 subscribers each, 13,000 subscribers each, 8,000 subscribers, 9,500-ish subscribers. So that's slotted in perfectly. That's been A-OK. The pants have suffered. But the hoodie's doing quite all right. But when this first appeared, oh, that went up very, very nicely. That's why I made such a fuss about saying, oh, the hoodie and pants went up in price. Why mention that? Because it's ridiculously, like, disproportionate with the amount of sales it got. So anyway, point made, understood. All 3 of these, 99 cents each. For the kilt, I said, 70 to 80 cents, but the other 2 pieces, 60 to 70. I don't think I've actually managed to pick up any of them. So if I could just go to my inventory. Come on, load it up. I have some Ladybug skins, but I don't think I've got tier 2 Ladybug skins. And the answer is, diddle-diddle-diddle-do. Well, I picked up some kilts, it seems. Some vests. But yeah, that's it. So maybe I could have offered higher. But what happens as we go through March and April? I won't be surprised if I do manage to pick up a few more. But I didn't buy too many, which I'm quite happy with. So of course, as we go through the summertime, so as long as the demand is still there, maybe it might not be too bad. Maybe I can flip them some sweet, delicious profit. Maybe the skin creator considers making some more. We'll see how it goes. All right, so Ladybug collection, it actually gets complete. Still need those gloves though. Maybe the skin creator could consider some tactical gloves. Ooh. He made leather gloves in the past because it was years ago when he made these. He could make road sign. He could make tactical. We'll see what becomes of that. But Face Punch remembered it. Face Punch managed to actually get accepted. So, all right, cool. Not too bad, but yeah, to actually greatly appreciate the potential of picking them up, I've got to wait till March and April. Apocalyptic LR300, I mean, I didn't trust it. Seems a lot of other people didn't trust it. But it still didn't go down to like 60 cents to 80 cents. But, he's going to say it again, yep. Expect it to go down worse around March and April. So, yep, sitting here at $1.21. Highest barter is basically 80 cents. Yep. So, have you been lower? Doesn't look like it. Do we have to wait a bit longer? Yes, we do. It's unfortunate, but that is the case. So, yeah, bit straightforward. And to my surprise, Nuke Vibe Fridge, unfortunately, it suffered. Which is kind of a surprise because, I mean, I've got a short video showcasing this. Go ahead and watch it. It's actually a really cool looking fridge skin. But unfortunately, it seems people just didn't appreciate. Which is weird because it's only got 18 listings. So let me just look at this. Have you been higher? Have you only just started to recently decline? Initially, yeah, it didn't have any listings. It was doing quite all right. But as time went on, as more and more people listed, wow, you've actually been down like $1.30. Wow. What price did I suggest to you? $1 to $1.50. Do I own some? Let's go ahead and find out. Nuke. Vibe. Huh, I've only got 2 doors. Really? Cool, I must have only offered like 1 buy order. Well then, as time goes on, as we look at you, I mean, you might be getting even cheaper. Keep an eye out for that. I am very surprised. Yeah. Yeah, I must have been like just $1. Did I forget to do a second barter? Probably. Although I do remember, around this period of time, I think this might have been the Rust store, I could only do 1 account that could do barters. Yeah. I had to go spend some funds and whatnot. Oh, so only 1 account I had could actually do barters. And it seems I just lowballed it. So I missed out. So overall, everything seemed reasonably okay. As you can see here with the balloon pack and the birthday candle hat, unfortunately, that sold for $4. Now it's at $2.60. That sold for $3. Now it's at $2. You should expect them to drop off, but around the summertime, you should expect them to perk up a bit. But I don't think people cared enough about the candle hat, so it's a bit debatable if you even want it. And the balloon pack, honestly, for decorations and just like making your base look a little bit more fun, for labeling things as well, because you can put words on them, I could see that actually working out quite all right. Keep an eye on that. Barter suggestions, I mean, I get the feeling I'm only going to really appreciate my barters as we go through a bad time again. But for now, I haven't been dumped on, so I don't feel bad or anything. How about you, though? Well, I mean, I did get dumped on that, but it worked out okay. It did work out okay. But are you happy? Did you purchase anything that worked out all right? Have you flipped it already? Feel free to comment below. But I don't think we've seen the worst of this yet. Could we see bad things with another Complete the Sets Rust store? We shall see. But the very next Rust store was another Complete the Sets Rust store. And it just so happened that we saw the first ever tactical glove skins ever being added. Or rather, technically speaking, it was the Hedge gloves. These are the first marketable ones. So, alright, cool. Another Cena-type box has appeared, but it was a food box. That's a bit of a problem because we had fridges being implemented properly early in the year. Although, you know, in the snowy biome and whatnot, still effective. Well, that's an interesting thing to discuss. Oh my, porcelain sheet metal doors finally accepted. Ooh, and the berries fridge. So lots of interesting things did appear. At the same time, a pirate bed and a Black Ops bed have been accepted. But if you know the prices, you'd be pleasantly surprised to see how that worked out. 2 handmade NMGs. Oh, suddenly we're seeing tons of handmade NMGs. So yeah, next week, a pretty interesting Rust store to talk about. So that's it. That's a wrap. Best of luck to you if you actually manage to get some profit. I hope you're rubbing your hands for some more things to consider buying into and, you know, buy orders and whatnot. It's a brand new year. It's a brand new opportunity to make some sweet, delicious profit. So, cool. We're getting closer and closer to the Christmas skins. Can't wait. So, thank you very much for watching me. I greatly appreciate it. Best luck to each and every single one of you. Have a pleasant week. And I hope you enjoy the brand new naval update.